This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. From streaming to shopping, Prime helps you get more out of your passions. So whether you're a fan of true crime or prefer a nail-biting novel from time to time, with services like Prime Video, Amazon Music, and fast free delivery, Prime makes it easy to get more out of whatever you're into or getting into. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to learn more.
Hello, and welcome to It's a Fandom Thing. I'm your host, Erin Marlowe, and each week I'm joined by a panel of guests to discuss all things fandom and pop culture, primarily from a female perspective. You'll find everything from fanfic to cosplay to Schitt's Creek to Supernatural and everything in between. So put on your favorite piece of fandom merch, set aside that fanfic that you're writing about your OTP, and sit back and enjoy this week's episode. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Pop Culture and Fandom News. I'm your host, Erin Marlowe, and on Friday's episode, we are talking about the funniest movie to come out in television in the last few years. Hilarious, nonstop comedy. Laugh until you're crying. Nothing about this show is stressful at all, and that is The Bear. I had to put it as technically, it's not technically part of Comedy Month, but since we had 5 Fridays in May, I had to put this in May because of the fact that everybody calls this a comedy show. I hadn't watched it when I put it there, but I had heard everybody say this isn't a comedy. And it isn't a comedy by any stretch of the imagination. It kills me every time I watch this and I'm like, this is supposed to be a comedy. Not that it doesn't have funny moments, but every drama pretty much has funny moments. So, hey. But anyway, I thought it'd be just funny to do that as a little jab. But I do love this show, as I've mentioned several times. If you're in our Discord, you know that. So I'm glad I put this on the schedule because it forced me to finally watch it. Joining me for that episode and for this week's Pop Culture and Fandom News are 2 amazing human beings. So first up, my co-host from Twin It Pod and the host of my streaming bubble, my podcast brain twin, Jenn. Hello, Jenn.
Hello, Erin. Thank you for having me on today's episode, the fandom and the other one. I'm excited. Sorry, words hard.
And that other one.
Yeah,
the other one. Yeah, whatever.
You were just talking about it. It ain't no.
Well, thank you for being here. And then also joining me is Sara. Hello, Sara.
Hello.
So let's get started with some pop culture and fandom news. So, Jenn, what is one thing right now in pop culture or fandom that you are into?
Well, originally I was going to say Sinners because I just saw that movie, but I know you guys have talked about it. Everyone talks about it. So I loved it. That's all I'll say. I'm talking about today the Savannah Banana baseball team. I heard about the Savannah Banana. So what they do, it's just fun. They do a lot of dancing. The players are ridiculously hot, all of them. And it's a lot of fun. And I follow them on TikTok. Their clips are great. I saw one player in the outfield do a backflip and catch the ball. So it's still the sport of baseball. They don't score it the same way or anything. It's kind of by inning, and they only play for 2 hours. But they are filling NFL stadiums. When I first heard about them a couple years ago, I looked them up to see what tickets were looking like they were sold out for 2 years. Now they're selling out NFL stadiums, and some of the comments were from the locals, and they're I've been on the wait list for 3 years and I still haven't gotten in. So they're a lot of fun, and they make baseball fun. If all baseball was played like this, I think the MLB would be top of the sports. It would be the all-American sport again. But MLB doesn't want to do that. They want to play to empty stadiums. That's fine. Then I was scrolling through them, and it was the Savannah Bananas cheerleading squad. And their cheerleading squad is made up of dudes and dad bods. So the baseball players are all very athletically fit and very nice looking, and they sometimes will take off their shirts, and that's a treat. But these dads, Dad Bod City 100%, and I just love seeing all these men in these cheerleading outfits doing the dance, doing the routines, smiling, having the time of their life. Like, if that isn't the most secure sign of like masculine security or whatever, I don't know what is, because these gentlemen are having the time of their life. And I love that for them. As a former cheerleader, they nailed their routine. No notes for all these men like in their 40s, probably. So definitely check out their YouTube channel, because I think they broadcast all their games there. They want to make it free for everyone to watch. And then, yeah, follow them on TikTok or wherever they're at, because they are a hoot.
I have never heard of this. So.
Erin, they're going to be in Denver August 9th and 10th, I think.
You won't be able to get tickets.
The tickets haven't gone on sale yet. You had to enter a lottery in like October, which I did, but I haven't gotten any information yet about it. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
I was just going to say, I'll bombard Erin with all the clips that I may or may not have bookmarked on.
Oh, yeah, bombard away. Yeah, I saw the dad bod video today, and I was dying. It was so awesome. They used to have granny cheerleaders too. And
no.
Yes.
I love that.
I don't know how I haven't heard of this, and I love baseball. It's the only sport I give a crap about. So.
It's such a cool story. The old minor league team was the Savannah Sandgnats. When we lived in Savannah, we'd gone to a couple games. The tickets were like $5, and it really didn't do well. And I don't know what happened, but whoever this guy is that bought it had this crazy idea for the Savannah Bananas. And, he wasn't sure if it was going to work, and he invested all the money he had into it, and it just took off. Like, we tried getting tickets when we went to Savannah a couple years ago, and I think the computer just laughed at me. Yeah, good luck with that. Because there is. I mean, Jen's right. There's a waiting list, and it's like years long. And they don't allow resale of their tickets. So if you see tickets on a third-party site, most likely they're fake. And they have two price points, $30 for the regular seats and $125 for like VIP seats. And that's it. And that's fees included, everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
definitely, yeah, they're so awesome.
Huh. Wow.
They're like the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, look
Cool.
at it that way. I like the picture on stilts.
Yeah.
So, Sarah, what is one thing that you are into?
Right now, I am into watching Stanley Tucci eat his way through Italy, which is making me very hungry. He had the original show that he did for like 3 seasons on CNN. And this is a new one on, I think it's on National Geographic, but I'm watching it on Hulu anyway. So it's only 5 episodes, but he's, touring different regions of Italy, sampling all the food, which of course all of it looks amazing. Even the offal, which I'm like, I don't know about that, but it still looks really good, but I don't know if I would eat it. But it's really interesting to see, because a lot of people think Italian cuisine, pasta. So much more than that. So much more than that. A lot of rabbit, which was surprising. They eat a lot of rabbit. Yeah, I thought that was odd, but he'll go to different restaurants and people's homes and have home cooked meals from, the little Italian grandma and all this stuff. And it's just really interesting. And now it's really making me want to visit Italy and just eat my way through Italy and put on like 15 pounds or something. Or maybe not do that, but yeah, I'm a foodie. I love to cook, love to bake. So this one was right up my alley, and my parents were here. So and they love watching it too. So we've been watching it. We were watching it all week, and absolutely fantastic. So if you're a foodie and you love Italian food, definitely check it out. It might not be as fun as the Savannah Bananas, but it is delicious.
It's Stanley Tucci.
Right, exactly. And it's Stanley Tucci. So, that's worth watching.
And it fits with what we're talking about on Friday. Food.
Oh, It kind of does, yes. But a lot less stress. And F-bombs.
Yeah. My sister went to Italy a few years ago. My sister travels all the time, and she said the food was incredible. But you know what's interesting is I think because of the way food is cooked in a lot of other countries, the weight thing is not like you're not necessarily just because you're eating more gonna gain weight. Like some people have actually like lost weight because you're not eating as many preservatives and stuff or something. I mean, I don't know how it all. I'm not like, I'm not trying to at all shame anything. I'm just saying that's what I've heard from people because even though you're eating a lot, it's different. And the one thing that she said that was hard to get used to is you eat so late there. Like people eat late. They don't eat like like I think it's like dinner start. I can't remember what time she said dinner started, but dinner starts later in the day. So things are done a little bit differently. But she went to this one thing where you have like wine comes from the wall or something. Like they created it during the height of COVID and the pandemic, and it's something where you didn't have to have someone there and you could get wine without having a server there. So yeah, she said it's pretty cool because you just go there and there's just like wine in the wall. So
yeah, I think he in the original series, I think he touched on that like you're just walking along the street and there's like this little window.
yeah.
And you could just order a glass of wine through this little teeny tiny window.
Yeah.
And I've heard that too about the food from people who, I seem to have had a lot of friends recently travel to Italy, and they've said the same thing. Like the food it's not as heavy as you would think it is. And I think that's because they don't have a lot of the preservatives. It's not overprocessed, that sort of thing.
More fresh options,
yeah,
probably.
yeah.
Even people I know that have like gluten sensitivities had no issue with the breads, the pastas, things like that, because it wasn't so heavily processed like it is here. It was more pure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's something to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. I probably will never end up going, but not because I don't want to go. It's just realistically, it probably won't end up happening. But yeah, that's on my long list. Although my sister did say there are parts of Italy that you would hate, Erin, because people are just because of the way it's like nonstop people, and it's like people everywhere. But it's also like people just cross in the street and don't look. People just like nothing is. There's no like regular like. And people in Italy might be listening now and going, "You're describing this horribly." I'm not trying to offend any of our Italian listeners at all. I'm just saying like. That was just something that was mentioned. But yeah, when I went to Ireland, that's one thing that was not like a bonus was the food. I actually was not a big fan of the food in Ireland. No offense, but it's kind of like I love spicy food, and you can't find spicy food there. And it also is just not. I don't know. The breakfast food it's so gross. I'm sorry to my future hubby too, but
Oh, that's right.
but I loved Ireland, but I couldn't live there because of the food.
They're not known for their cuisine for sure.
No. I mean, I did have a great pavlova once. It was specially made for me because of my nut allergy, because I couldn't eat the dessert that was offered because we were on a tour, and so you got dinner every night. That was like a 3-course meal thing. And I did have really good fish and chips once. And Irish coffee is just the best thing in the world. I was surprised how much I loved that. But other than that, I was just kind of But what I'm into, I was trying to decide what I was going to mention. I did go to a concert last night. I loved being at Red Rocks, but I'm old and I have severe iron deficiency stuff that's just been discovered. So being there with that altitude, it just was not like, it's beautiful, but it was like, I think a lot for my body. And also it was kind of, I'm sorry, but Leon Bridges, you're talented, but it was kind of boring. We left early, but sorry. I mean, you're really talented, super talented, but it was fun to go and be out there. So I'm going to mention, I saw 28 Days Later again on the big screen. They re-released it on the 21st of May. to promote, of course, the upcoming 28 years later. And they had like extra scenes in it, but honestly, I couldn't tell you what the extra scenes were. And then at the very end, after the credits, they had a scene from 28 years later. And 28 days later, it's amazing because it's been a while since I've seen it. And it's been since it was out in the theater since I've seen it on the big screen. So that's, a long time. And that movie is so, so good. That movie is just fantastic. There is like not a single flaw in that movie. The score was one thing I'd forgotten about, but that score is like perfection. Cillian Murphy is just so good. So, so good. And I went with my sister, and my sister said there was this guy sitting next to her. First, he shows up and the trailer's going, and he stands right in front of me because he's looking for a seat and just stands there. Doesn't move, just stands there looking at his phone. I'm like, you fucking asshole, you better sit down soon. So he sits down, and then when you first see Cillian Murphy, he's fully naked, full everything, no, nothing, And this is like a teenage boy or whatever. And he goes, hee. And I'm like, oh my God. Luckily, I didn't hear that part, but that's so annoying. Theater etiquette. I mean, usually at the Alamo, you don't have to worry about that so much, but he was just like, and then he would sit there and crunch ice like very loudly during the quiet parts of the movie. This is a packed theater too. And then the woman I was sitting next to on the other side of me kept saying every few minutes, oh. And I'm like, this is a zombie movie. It's not like it was like she was watching a romantic comedy or something. Not a romantic comedy, but a romantic drama. It was so weird. I mean, the movie was great and I could lose myself, but it was just a few things of people, like, honestly, the theater etiquette, which we talk about all the time, which usually that's why I go to the Alamo now and won't go anywhere else, because of the fact that usually you don't have to worry about that. And then, like, there was this one part while the credits are rolling and then they're about to do the 28 years later clip is showing, and it's really quiet. And he's like, go, really loudly. So, like, really? But anyway, back to the good part of 28 days later is, of course, I think, and this is a zombie movie. I know people like to say this isn't a zombie movie because they're so fast. Whatever. There can be different takes on different tropes, different monsters. That's how you have to do. You have to evolve and take challenges, or it all becomes stale. So, no. And it's just, once again proves the most horrific part of any zombie movie are the humans. And the humans, and especially when they're men, are so horrible. That whole part is just those men and how disgusting they are to the women and to the teenage girl. It's so frightening and scary because it's only been 28 days, okay? Only been like 28 days and maybe a few after that, but it's still only been 28 days and you're already deciding you are going to use women to repopulate what? Or your playthings, and you're going to, they'll have no body autonomy after only 28 days. And that is so terrifying to me because it's not like they must have been already, incubating this idea for like maybe like most of the time. And they probably already had this idea before it happened. So it just once again proves if there's an apocalypse, I don't want to survive that. I want to go out in the first round. I don't want to deal with this crap. No, thank you. Even if Cillian Murphy was there to join us on the journey. No, thank you. No. But yes, 28 days later is still just as fantastic as I remember it. The music is still just so incredible. The cinematography, the performances, everything about that movie is perfection. And I am very excited for 28 years later. So I'm really, really excited for that one and to see what they do. So, yeah. Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to discuss one thing in fandom or pop culture that is eating our brains. Or I can't think of the opposite of that. Or the opposite of that, whatever the opposite of that is. Giving us brains.
Growing brains?
Growing brains, yeah. Not growing pains, but growing pains.
Growing brains.
So we'll be right back.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more.
800-281-7048. 800-281-7048. 800-281-7048. That's 800-281-7048.
Okay, so Jen, what is one thing in pop culture or fandom that you are excited, etc. about?
Oh, this one was kind of hard, but so I was like, God, what am I excited? Like a lot of things. But I think because of the pod prep and for the recording and everything, I am so super excited for the next season of The Bear. After doing the rewatch of the full series so far, it just kind of like renewed that, like, yes, give me more. I want a fourth helping, because season 4. So this is a very well-timed recording, Erin, because the next season comes out, I think, just like in a few weeks, or like
June 25th.
Yeah. So not that long of a wait. Series is pretty fresh in my mind, so I'm very, very excited. I watched the trailer for it the other day, and there was one part where they show Suge kind of up close, and she's stressed out, surprise, and she goes to like just breathe, and she goes, he. And I was like, oh God, it begins already. So so that's what I'm excited for, is the next season of The Bear.
Yeah, I watched the season finale of season 3 this morning. And I thought I was going to be done with all of these seasons way earlier, but things happened that prevented me from watching as fast. And I was like, oh, yay, I can finally stop avoiding that trailer for season 4, because it kept popping up on my For You page of things. And I'm like, no, I haven't even finished season 3. So yeah, and I didn't even mean to time it this way. It just magically happened that season 4 ends up premiering like a month after we're done, so I don't have to wait for months and months. So I'm very happy that I timed it that way, so I don't have to wait that long for season 4. So yeah. And you can go follow Io Adebre on TikTok now. So they made their first video the other day. I believe it's officially them. I think you reposted it, Jen, the TikTok I did.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
doing the dance in the kitchen.
With Eben, and then like in the background, like Jeremy's just right there, like actually looking like he's plating something. Like he's very focused. Yes. So it was just kind of the cutest little thing.
Yeah. So Sara, what is one thing that you're excited, etc., upset, whatever it is?
I am super excited for the new Volbeat album.
The what?
Yes, a band that's not Ghost. So surprising for me. No, they're a metal band. I know, shocking, but they're sort of, I think, not Roy Orbison, Johnny Cash meets Metallica. So I know it sounds like it sounds like a really, really weird combination.
Not necessarily,
but it works. I've been listening to them for, I don't know, 15 years or so. And the past couple albums I haven't liked too much because they sort of veered away a little bit from their original sound. But this album, at least the first 3 singles that I've heard so far, remind me of like their first 4 or 5 albums. So it's, very very heavy in the music, but Michael Paulson, who's the lead vocalist, he has this like real rockabilly, Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash kind of sound to him, but it works. I don't know how it works, but it works. And they've got a new album coming out June 6th called God of Angels Trust. And I really, really looking forward to this one. Already ordered it on vinyl. Oh, words are hard today. So, counting the days, not really, until that arrives in the mail. And unfortunately, they'll be in Denver while I'm in Philadelphia. So I won't get to see them live this year. But that's okay. I'm all right with it.
Who's this band again?
Volbeat. Volbeat. It's also the name of a Pokemon.
That's why I thought it sounded familiar.
That random piece of information for the day.
Love it.
I don't think they named it after a Pokemon, but
Maybe they
I
did.
don't
You
know.
never know.
They're Danish, so I doubt it was named after a Pokemon, but yes, it's also the name of a Pokemon.
Danish listeners are like, hey, we love Pokemon too.
Gotta catch them all.
We could. I don't know.
Cool.
Everyone loves Pokemon.
Oh my God.
Or not. I don't know.
I do.
I just know my kids were obsessed with it when they were little. So
My kids are, and I always tell them my favorite is Psyduck because his anxiety gets so bad it ruins everyone's day. I love it. He's my fave. Sorry. No one asked. I'm sorry.
I feel that.
You don't have to
I
apologize.
feel that.
No, I love that that's named after that just because it just seems funny. And that's not really that odd of a combo, Metallica and Johnny Cash. I mean, Johnny Cash covered Nine Inch Nails. It's not.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's
a great version of her, though.
It is. It's not better than the original, I don't think.
No, but it's a great
But
cover.
it is a
Love
great
it.
cover. So I'm sorry. Both of you gave stuff you're excited about, and I'm about ready. And I'm about to just throw water on the fire or whatever. I don't know. So I apologize. So trigger warnings for talk about assault, sexual abuse, predators, horrible, awful people. So Cannes, the film festival is going on right now as we're recording this. They're wrapping it up. But this film festival always bugs the crap out of me because while I love film, I'm a film geek and I love hearing about all these new films. Cannes, has a problem with the fact that it doesn't care about predators at all. I mean, that's a big problem in Hollywood in general, but Cannes seems to somehow usually, shine a spotlight on them. Like it's honored Roman Polanski so many times. And of course, so many Hollywood actors are okay with Roman Polanski. Fuck you all. Seriously, because no, the man's a rapist and he's an admitted rapist and of a child. And that's just, that's not okay. Okay, that's not something to be forgiven and to give him lots of awards and feel sorry for the man. I don't feel sorry for him. Yes, it's horrible, terrible that his wife and his child were murdered by the Manson family. That is horrible. I'm not negating that. It's horrible. The Holocaust, of course, is horrible and suffering from that. But that does not mean it's okay that you raped a 13-year-old. Okay, that does not make that okay. And you fled without really actually serving. I mean, you still get to do your career. You're not being punished. You're not having a hard life. Give me a break. You just don't want to come over here because you will be arrested if you come over here to the United States. So, yeah. But Cannes, and to quote a tweet from Gabe Alfassi, Cannes being a literal abuser convention right now. James Franco, Shia LaBeouf, Kevin Spacey, and Ezra Miller, and probably many, many others. And what that means is these people were on the red carpet or receiving awards, namely Kevin Spacey, as far as the awards go. Kevin Spacey, yes, I can hear you now. The award was not officially Cannes, but it was part of a sister company, a company that's, from what I've heard from reports, is supposed to be helping lift up women and female voices and marginalized voices. And meanwhile, you are awarding a person who is an alleged predator. And Kevin Spacey gave the most disgusting speech of like, oh gosh, I'm being persecuted. I'm being treated like like, oh my gosh, I'm like, dude, you still get to receive awards. You still get to make movies. You are not being blacklisted. You're not being canceled. And I'm so sick of people saying certain people are canceled. We did a whole episode on this when we talked about publicity and how publicity uses fandom to have people go after people when they, the biggest ones were Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Then you also got Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. And then, of course, the latest one is Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. No matter what you think of, I don't like Blake Lively, but no matter what you think of certain people involved, there was a very, very dedicated process of PR machines using fandom and fandom being absolutely disgusting and using them to go after people. And it happens with these people too. Ezra Miller was walking the red carpet, avoiding people, walking very fast. And people in the comments are like, no, he's not guilty. There's videotape of him literally attacking somebody. And he's been accused of kidnapping. He's been accused of horrible things, and he still gets to go out and do things. You've got James Franco has been accused of sexual assault, of using his position and power with acting students and doing awful things. He gets to still make movies. Of all of these ones I'm mentioning, I think he's suffered. I don't think any of them have really suffered, frankly. Suffered the least of these 4 people that were mentioned. And then Shia LaBeouf, this piece of fucking garbage. I'm sorry, this person, oh, yes, I know, accused. He's admitted to some of this stuff, though. This person deserves to be rotting for what he allegedly did to FKA Twigs. If you read the stuff that he allegedly did to her, it's so disgusting. He has trigger warning for abuse for all of this, but trigger warning also for animal abuse. He allegedly, when he was preparing for a role, went out and shot at dogs. He was at Cannes because there was a documentary made about his acting studio. He was okay with this documentary being made, okay? And this documentary features scenes of him being physically abusive with his students. And he's there, and he's like, I need to see this. So he's doing this whole redemption crap. And these people get to just keep doing this, and it's so despicable to me. And then you wonder why people don't come forward, because you get trashed like this. You come forward right away, you get trashed. You come forward later, you get trashed. It doesn't flip and matter. And these people still get to have a career. Once again, I highly, highly recommend listening to the podcast A Little Bit Fruity in general, but they did a whole episode about Amber Heard and the Johnny Depp thing and how absolutely horrendous that was, and how because this man who was so much flipping older than her and had so much money, how he was able to use that and abuse that and make her look like this gold digger and all this stuff. And, when she said she was going to donate her money, the reason she couldn't donate her money is because of Johnny fucking Depp and him being all like legal stuff and legal, crap, and having to spend money. And he knew it would be that money. So, for those alleged crimes, it just really is something that makes me just hate this industry so much, because nobody ever pays. Nobody. I mean, there's a few. Yes, Danny Masterson is rotting in prison. Thank you for that. You have Harvey Weinstein finally rotting in prison. Thank you for that. But other than that, very few people really, really suffer. We'll see what happens with Diddy right now with that trial. So we'll see. But it's just like, you have someone literally running the country who has accusations against him. So it's just, nobody gives a crap. Nobody cares. It's just like, nobody cares. No. Nope. And it's not just men that are the issue in this. So I'm just so fed up with these film festivals being like, it's okay, we're going to let these people here. And people saying cancel culture has ruined everything. And people don't get canceled. The people that suffer usually are the people that are the victims. So it's very rare that the actual victimizers suffer. I mean, I'm so glad. That was like an amazing day when Danny Masterson was found guilty and the number of years he got, especially since he has Scientology in his pocket. So that was incredible. That was absolutely incredible. But that is such a rarity, and it just...
Yeah. I feel like he was the sacrifice. They're like, here, we'll sentence this one famous person for a bunch of years, and that's going to make up for not doing shit for anybody else. Because even like non-famous people that are child predators, they get like months, maybe months, maybe a couple of years. This country loves their predators. They love child predators and rapists and pieces of shit like that. And because those people exist, I can never be 100% against the death penalty, because those motherfuckers need to be put the fuck down. I don't give a shit. I don't fucking care. Set them on fire. Make it painful. I don't give a shit. I don't want to pay for them to exist at all. Sorry, I'm done.
You don't have to apologize, because no
apology.
And most other people in prison agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why they usually have to separate predators from the rest of the prison population, because no, they don't. I mean, no, it's the fact that the fact that, people that we have deemed not able to be in society with us, which, let's face it, a lot of the people in prisons today are people that are there for, like, I'm not saying all of them, but our prison system is fucked, okay? Racism, everything. I mean, so a lot of people in prison are there for, like, drug crimes and stuff that, okay, come on, we're wasting our money. Yeah, nonviolent criminals. And the fact that they have more morals than these people that you look down upon have more morals than, like, the people you supposedly look up to. So it just absolutely infuriates me, to no end. Okay, well, on that note, I know, I told you I'm going to go to a darker place there. So, okay, well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about something that I think is a good thing, and I think other actors need to follow suit. We are going to talk about Nicole Kidman and the fact that Nicole Kidman has worked with 27 women directors in the last 8 years.
Kick off summer with Memorial Day savings at Lowe's. Right now, get 5 Scott's Naturescapes 1.5 cubic foot mulch bags for just $10. Plus, get up to 40% off select major appliances and save an extra $50 on every $500 you spend on select major appliances $396 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 5/28. Mulch offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Okay, we're back. And in a recent Variety article, and I'll link this in the show notes, was talking about how Nicole Kidman, who right now is at Cannes, where she is set to receive the Woman in Motion Picture Award, and she has now worked with 27 women directors in 8 years, and she is urging financial mentors to invest in unknown filmmakers and, quote, take a risk. And this article is by Zach Scharf. And Nicole Kidman, in 2017, made a public vow to work with a woman director every 18 months. She had no idea if that would even be possible, but she was determined to see it through. And she has, because in the last 8 years, plus factoring in her current projects and development, she has teamed up with 27 female directors across her various film and television projects. And she said, quote, I was going to make it possible. I was at a point where we had a discussion where there was such a disparity in terms of the choice. You'd go, could a woman direct this? And there wasn't a number of names where you could even consider people. They'd say it was someone's first time and you didn't want to risk it. I had to start to say, this is how I am doing it. This is what I am doing. We will take the risk and we are going to mentor and support and help and then really protect. Because part of it is protecting and surrounding the women with almost like a force field of protection and support so they can do their best work. At the same time, it's giving them the opportunity where they feel like this isn't the only chance. A lot of it is like, okay, you get one shot. So I just think this is amazing and she should be applauded for this and other people need to do this because I spoke briefly about this last week when I talked about Baby Girl and how important it was that Baby Girl was written and directed by a woman, the subject matter, because the way it was handled. And, back during Me Too, although Me Too was started way before it became really, really, really big, because it was started by a Black woman, but there became this movement called Time Out, and it was all these women saying they were going to start changing the landscape, and we need to work with more female directors. And Nicole Kidman was part of that, and I think she's one of the rarities in this group of people that actually stuck by what they were saying. I mean, you had Natalie Portman around this time, was presenting an award for Best Director at Golden Globes, and said, all male directors, and said this big speech. She has worked with all male directors, okay? She is part of the problem. You can speak it, but and she has power. Natalie Portman has a lot of power. And so if you can speak that, but you're not doing anything, then you're still part of the problem. And so for Nicole Kidman, who is a rich, beautiful, white, cisgendered woman, to do this, I think says a lot and means a lot because people will listen to her. And that is what other people need to do. So, Jenn, why do you think this is so important that Nicole Kidman has done this?
Women, uplifting women, you'd love to see it. There needs to be more of that with like no strings attached, no conditions, just women supporting women in general. And giving these women directors their chance to tell their story, like giving them their chance that they may not have gotten. But because, like you said, it's their first time, they've never made one, we can't take the risk. Shut the fuck up. That's a bunch of fucking horse shit. But so I love that she's opening that door for all these women to give them the chance to share their vision, share their stories, share their work, because for some reason, I just keep thinking about like The Substance, and that was just an amazing movie. And I loved how that was filmed and how you can tell there's just certain parts where you can almost tell that it was a woman that directed the scene. And then there's a part where it kind of shifts where it's like, because it's a show within the movie, the crew is all men. And so then the way things are filmed through that lens is very male gaze and everything. And I loved how she did that. And there just needs to be more of that, because I think you can tell the story, you can leave that impression, you can do all those things without getting too like gratuitous or like, I don't know. Women are just smarter and better, and we're way more talented in getting points across without being so like in your face and obvious and like, here's boobies and look, more boobies, and we're going to hang out on the boobies a little bit more in case you didn't understand that she's got boobies. Like, so, a woman director can like get that same point across without spending 15 minutes on the boobies. So I love that, and we need more of that. And maybe if we can get more women in power, like directors, producers, and stuff like that, then I don't know, maybe eventually in 100 years or so, the landscape in Hollywood can shift where maybe they are no longer protecting predators because now the women are the majority and they're ruling everything. Wouldn't that be wonderful? So that's why we need more women directors. So then that way in 100 years we can achieve that. It's a utopia.
Yeah. So, Sara?
That's an interesting point. I didn't think of it that way, with getting more women, execs, producers, directors, etc. And you're pushing the old boys club out who are protecting these people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's, I didn't even look at it that way, but that's actually a really, really good point. I think this is fantastic. Like, I didn't even know that she had done this. And I guess this story just broke recently. Or is this like an old thing?
Well, she's been talking about this since like 2017. So people have been, keeping track of it to make sure she actually, and people have put her up there. But they really made a note of this because of the fact that she's receiving that award. And so they were spotlighting the fact that she has not only succeeded, but has exceeded what she said she was going to do. So,
Yeah, no, I think I really don't have much to add to what Jenn said. I think, and as you know, especially an A-list actor like her, who does have that power and that influence, I think we need more A-listers, men and women, both, to do things like this. I mean, and it seems like it is changing a little bit. There was something, I'm trying to find it. There was something in the article. It says when she first made her vow in 2017, women had only directed 4% of the top grossing movies of the year. In 2024, that had gone up to 13.6%. So it seems like it is changing, which is a good thing. Hopefully people see that and see what she's done, and that trend starts to continue. And this whole, it's their first time bullshit. They wouldn't say that to a male director.
Mm-hmm.
They would take a chance on a first time male director. So it's sexism.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the old boys club. And so, because of that, I think what she's doing, trying to get more women into the industry, I think it's fantastic and more positive. And, hopefully if we get some more women directors, producers, execs, maybe we could get some more original content instead of Hollywood just regurgitating old movies and reboots and everything else, because you're not seeing a lot of that original content. And a lot of, I think in that aspect, I think women could be a little bit more creative in getting some new stories out there instead of, let's remake, The Princess Bride. Please don't do that. Hollywood, don't do that. Just giving an example here. Please don't even think about it. Do not touch that movie. But anyway, yeah, hopefully, like I said, hopefully this trend continues. So fingers crossed, we could see a change soon.
Yeah. And also, I want to point out it's not just white women that she has worked with. I think that's also an important thing, is that it is, with the first time male directors, it's a lot easier, of course, for the first time white male directors. You look at a lot of some of the criticism that has fallen, or a lot of the more scrutiny, including from Variety, towards Ryan Coogler with Sinners, and that would not be happening if Ryan Coogler was not a black man. So that's the other part, is that it's not just white women she's worked with. And the other part is that she's not just worked with industry veterans. She's worked with newcomers and given them a voice. And I think that's important too, because like I've stressed on here before, it's important to have representation in front of the camera, but it's just as important to have representation behind the camera, because that's how you get more accurate storytelling. And that's how, like you were saying, Sara, you get more original stuff. That's how you get more personal stuff. That's how you get stuff where it's not just always stereotypes. And so that's why it's very important that we don't just have the representation in front of the camera, but also behind the camera. And it was interesting to me, and I actually really appreciated this part that she said in here. But so I want to read this quote lastly, and then also just putting this out there to any of you in the industry that listen to us. If you are able to, please try and please try and follow in Nicole Kidman's footsteps, because that's the only way stuff gets changed. And I'm not saying she's perfect by any stretch. I'm just saying the fact that she knows her privilege and she's using her privilege for this is something that everybody who has that privilege needs to do. Everybody in this industry with that privilege needs to be following in her footsteps. Yeah. And I mean, also, if you ever want to look at a picture of pure joy, and I don't know for sure this is true, but everybody has said there's a picture you can find of Nicole Kidman when she's leaving her attorney's office after she has signed her divorce papers from Tom Cruise. And I've never seen more joy on a woman's face in my life.
Mm-hmm.
She's like skipping, dancing down the street. So, hey, I mean, I'm not going to put words. We don't know for sure how she really feels, but I just think and of course, she's madly in love with her husband now. I mean, to a sickening degree, those two are in love with each other. But I'm happy for you, Nicole. So I thought this was interesting because she was asked, so given her commitment to women directors, does Kidman want to move into directing herself? And she said, no. I find it incredibly fulfilling supporting filmmakers in a producer capacity. It's beautiful being an actor and saying, I'm in your hands and shape me and do with me what you will. I enjoy the intimacy of the work. The intimacy is what keeps me coming back. It's salvation for me. So I just think that's really beautiful. And I think it's beautiful just because she's like, wants to help others, and she's not doing this. She's doing it for herself, of course, because she gets to play all these complicated characters. But I just think that's amazing. And I know I said that was the last thing, but I forgot to mention, I also think it's important that she's not just working with women filmmakers in the capacity of making film and television that is all like nice romantic comedies or stereotypes of what a woman director you think they'd be writing. She does a lot of complicated, twisted stuff and dark stuff and very vulnerable stuff. And, you know, like I said, for Baby Girl, if you watch that movie, make sure, you know, if you have kids, you don't want your kids hearing any of it. I mean, you can hear part of it. And I said jokingly, but it's true, Fergie left the room when the movie started, because the movie starts before you even see her and you hear her loudly exclaiming joy, kind of, you know, certain joy. It's a very, 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 very sexual movie. So that is not something you would normally go, okay, definitely a woman is going to write and direct something like this. So that's all about a woman's pleasure and a woman finding pleasure for the first time in her life, really. So I just want to say I also applaud that it's not just stereotypes that she's going after. She's going after more complex storytelling. And she's not always playing the good person either. So that's also, I think, important too. Okay, I never thought on this. I like Nicole Kidman, but I never thought on this podcast I praise Nicole Kidman so dang much. But she's also a fantastic actor, so, you know, hey. Okay, well, thank you, Jenn and Sara, for joining me for this week's Pop Culture and Fandom News episode. We're going to go ahead and wrap up, and I'm going to have my panelists tell everybody where they can be found. And Jenn will tell everybody where my streaming bubble can be found.
Well, you can find my streaming bubble just over there on the internet, just kind of all over. I've Googled myself, it's really exciting. I'm just, there it is. So my streaming bubble on, and on the socials, pretty much all of them, except for, you know, the one, but Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. And then you can listen on podcast players near you. And then Erin and I's Twin It to Win It podcast, where we test our twinningness by trying to guess how the other one feels about different horror movies, can also be found on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky, and can also be listened to on most podcast players.
Whew. Yes. I Google myself too, Jenn. I do. It is a fun feeling.
It's
like,
a nice little burst of like, hee.
It is, yes. So, Sara, have you Googled yourself?
I have not Googled myself. I'm very boring. So I don't think there would be much there that would be interesting if I Googled myself. You know, just, hey, we bought this house type of thing. But yeah, I mean, if you want to follow me, you're more than welcome to on Facebook at Sara Vaccaro-Barnick. That's BARNAIK. Or on Instagram at NateCamMom. That is NateCammom. Those are mostly the two that I'm active on. I mostly do a lot of stalking on TikTok as opposed to publishing my own videos because no one would be interested in what I have to say.
Well, you don't know that.
Well, there you go. But here's my sourdough recipe.
People
Yes,
would be very
People would probably be
interested
interested in that.
I remember when you did your series that you did for, what was it, Mother's Day?
Oh, Mother's Day.
That was very popular on TikTok, I remember.
It was.
So, hello.
Yeah.
I was so bummed that we couldn't do it this year because the boys weren't home yet. They didn't come home until, well, they both weren't home until this past weekend. So I was like kind of upset, and my husband offered to do it again this year. And I'm like, it's just not as fun without the kids here.
It's not the same.
They need to be involved. So he cooked me dinner instead. I really wanted to do. So hope maybe we'll do it for Father's Day again this year. But
There you go.
But yeah, that one was a lot of fun.
See?
So maybe a few things.
Sarah, I sit there and I watch hundreds of videos of people packing candy to be shipped to other people. So I literally sit there watching it. I'm like, why am I watching? So,
Okay.
come on.
Oh my God, I love it.
Oh. Do that with my sourdough bread. Here's me packaging up my sourdough bread.
You could go through making your sourdough bread. People will love that. I'm not saying that as an insult at all. Like, I'm just saying comparatively watching people pack up candy compared to watching people make bread, that's a lot. That takes a lot more skill than watching somebody pack candy. Although this woman packs it like, everybody's like, man, you'd win Tetris in a second.
Yeah.
But so I'm just
I
saying
can see that. Yeah.
there's a huge market for that on TikTok. So, don't sell yourself short. So that's all I'm saying. Okay, but another TikTok superstar, she should be a superstar, is Fergie the dog. I know I haven't posted a video lately, but Fergie loves watching television, except for pornographic films. It's not pornographic. I'm just kidding. She does not like watching movies with lots of sex in it, I guess. But she loves watching horror, so she'd rather watch people die than watch people in an act that could bring forth life. So I love it.
Fergie's kind of dark.
But she does love watching. Let me take that in. But she does love watching horror, true crime, and Abbott Elementary. So she's not all about death. But you can follow her on TikTok at Schroeder and Fergs. That's SCHROEDERANDFERGS. It's long, but it's worth it. To find the links to all our past episodes, social media, our Patreon, where you can become a Patreon supporter for as little as $3 a month, and you can get bonus content, ad-free episodes, early access to episodes. Occasionally, I give away prizes. At higher levels, you automatically get some merch after a certain number of months of supporting. So you want to head over to the website. It's afandomthingpod.com. If you click the support us link, that'll take you to our Patreon. It'll also take you to our Redbubble store, our Buy Me a Coffee, all sorts of stuff. So if you want to support us in other ways other than just listening, that would be awesome. And we appreciate it, but we understand. We just appreciate you listening. So thank you so much for listening around the world. I still just get a kick out of the fact that it's not just there is some joy in that of like when you look and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm listened to in this country. It's really, there's so much pleasure there of like just knowing that. And so thank you so much to everybody who listens to the podcast. And on Friday's episode, we'll be back with the comedy show of the decade, The Bear. So until next time, remember, it's a fandom thing. Black Lives Matter, stop Asian hate, and free Palestine.
Did you know that over 504 million people listen to podcasts every day, just like you? That's a lot of new customers. With AudioHook, you can tap into the power of podcasting to reach the right listeners and find your next customer. The AudioHook platform is designed to make podcast advertising simple and results-driven. The best part? You don't pay upfront for placements or impressions. You only pay when your campaign delivers the results you want, whether that's more site visits, leads, or sales. That's right, you only pay for results. AudioHook uses advanced technology to ensure your message connects with your target audience. Campaigns are optimized in real time so you can track success and adjust strategies instantly. With AudioHook, you'll maximize your spend and achieve your business goals faster. Get started today and take your business to the next level in 2025. To learn more about how AudioHook can help you achieve your desired results, visit audiohook.com/results. That's audiohook.com/results.